Happy Sunday, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me outside of the massive amount of traffic going by. It's a busy Sunday. Everybody's probably heading back home from coming up north, but I wanted to take this opportunity to kind of walk you guys through some of the changes that we've been able to make. So here's one of the big things we did. We finally got our front yard here enclosed and fenced in. So this is actually the entry. The main door to the house is over where that deck is. So this is our front yard basically. And we've got that done. We've still got some staining to do on the pickets, but all the pickets are up. I'm very excited. And the other half of the fence here, all the way up to the house. That's our side entry, so this door leads right into our yard, and this is our front yard basically. So it's quite large, which was kind of our intent. We wanted it to be big, so that way our dog would have plenty of space to run around, our daughter had plenty of space to run around. This is our yard. So these two sections of fence here are what we got done last year, and then this side and that section are what we got done this year. So this is our new ground level deck. The deck that was here originally was in total probably only about this half here, but it was turned the other way, so the long side was up against the garage there. I wanted a deck that was going to be big enough to not only have my husband's grill and then an outdoor serving area, but then also patio table and chairs, and really to be able to just, an outdoor eating area. The substructure here is in, it is secured, we leveled it. My husband needs to put some more of the bracing in between the joists, and then we start putting on the composite boards, and then we're going to be doing some painted pressure treated wood along the edges for the fascia to just kind of make it cleaned up a little bit, or keep it cleaned up a little bit. Section of landscaping here, probably going to extend that all the way down to the end of the deck here, so that's flush with it, just kind of to create that division between the yard where the pets and the kids play, and then the area where is kind of our eating area and that sort of thing in there. These posts are just a cedar post, square post, and they are probably about 2.5 feet into the ground. We put them in, we put a little gravel underneath, and then my husband actually put this plastic cover over the post. It just covers, just above ground level, where you would typically have damage from water and moisture in that, so that the posts last longer that way. This landscaping stuff, this was already here before. There was a few things that we had to move because of where the posts were going to be, but I'm hoping to go through at some point here in the near future, clean up some of this black plastic, either lay it back down and fill in with some stuff, or just kind of cut it out, because at this post there's way too much plastic here where that needs to be cut back. So I'm going to take you over to the garden. First of all, here we have my container planting. This first little guy here is spinach. Well, actually these first three are spinach. First two pots here are spinach. Those two are having a little bit of a rougher start. This guy's doing pretty well, happy to say. These guys are basil, and they have probably quadrupled in size in the last week or two. That's my thyme, which is also really starting to take off and look pretty good. So I'm excited for when that gets to be nice and bushy. Now my mom sent up some tomatoes for me. This guy got a little damaged in a storm we recently had, so I'm trying to help him stay up and survive here. But all of the tomatoes that I had started, seed starts, are now gone. They did not survive. So my mom sent up some tomato plants that she had that were doing well. So that's those. These guys, the outside here, these 4 are pepper plants, and then that guy's a broccoli. These are all peppers. And then I've got a few more tomatoes in there. Here is my garden. Alright, so I'm not sure if you can see those very well, but those are all rhubarb, those big leaves there. So it actually looks like I need to come out and harvest a few more. My husband just made some strawberry rhubarb pie the other day with the rhubarb that I harvested, and oh, was it good. Now, I had thought that I was just going to have to give up on this garden because all of my seed starts were really, really struggling. Most of them did die, and I was pretty sad about it. So we came up with a solution for next year. We're actually going to move the planting space, and that is still the plan. But I got a wonderful little surprise that I do have a few things that I planted that are growing. So right here is one of my broccolis. It's actually alive, and it's grown quite a bit. I'm hoping to get out again later today and give these guys some more plant food because our soil is extremely silty and sandy, so it doesn't keep a whole lot of nutrients. This is another broccoli that I planted, so I'm hoping. And then over here, randomly here and there, you'll see we've got some beets. These are the beets that I planted. This one's actually doing quite well. There's a few of these that are actually in pretty darn good shape, but most of them are actually doing pretty good, I think. All the way along here, this guy is doing quite well. But yeah, we've got the beets, and then I had another wonderful little surprise when I came out, and these guys are carrots that I planted. I just watered them yesterday, so but yeah, that's a carrot. Pretty happy about that. And then over here, there's a few more asparagus coming up. Oh, there's an asparagus hiding next to a shallot. Yum. Love my asparagus. I picked my asparagus probably a lot earlier than some other folks do, just because I don't like really big asparagus. It gets woody and tough to eat, and I personally prefer to eat asparagus when it's raw, or my husband also cooks it really, really well. It's another one. But if I pick it when it's a little bit smaller, he has less work to do as far as preparing it too, so it works out well for everybody. Now over here in this section, I had planted, I think, some cucumbers or tomatoes, beans, something along those lines. None of those are alive. None of those survived. That's a really loud truck. So none of those survived, I don't think. What is this? Is this a weed? What did I plant here? There's a card. I think it's supposed to say bean. That might actually be a bean plant. Do I have a surviving bean? I think I might. It's in rough shape. Well, hopefully. That, I believe, is an eggplant. My mom sent up quite a few different plants. She sent up some kale. That's what those guys are. Funny thing is, neither my husband or I really like kale. But you know what? We're at least going to try and see if we can get them to grow, and then maybe figure out how we can eat them. These were the remainder of the pepper plants that my mom sent up, and they are not really doing very well in this bed. I was hoping they would do better than this, because the soil actually looked better in here. I've got a lot of thistles I need to come out and get rid of, but here's another broccoli, and then that's another broccoli over there too. Those guys survived. My hot peppers did not. They actually looked like they were going to do okay, but they have all died, unfortunately. And then I have that tomato plant. There it is. That tomato plant that came from my mom that I put out here just to see what would happen. This one's trying to survive, but it's a rough go in this soil because it is so sandy and silty that it doesn't hold on to moisture for very long, and it doesn't retain any nutrients either. For next year, actually, is going to be twofold, actually. One, we are going to be turning this into our chicken run, and then the actual garden space. Okay, so we're going to do raised planter beds kind of either side here, probably 2 relatively long ones, and then, or a little bit long, relatively long and probably quite wide, and then we're going to leave the space in the middle here open, but we want to get the planter beds close enough that we're going to be able to take cattle panel and create an arch over this area. So then we will be able to have any of our climbing plants like beans and cucumbers and squash and all that sort of stuff. We'll be able to have them climb, and then they'll get more sunlight because this is the sunniest area of the yard and really of the property. And then for the hardier, the plants that can get away with a little bit less sunlight, I'm going to convert this area down here. So I'll probably create some steps down. And then the garden, the actual garden, not just the planters, the garden is going to go down in this area here, because we do have the big crabapple trees here, but during the summer, this space usually gets a lot of sunlight, and that's why like the grass is really patchy on top of the fact that it's very sandy soil. But the grass is really patchy, and this is usually the area that dries and dies if we don't get rain often enough, because it just gets so much sunlight. My plan for our outdoor eating area, because I want to make it as seamless and easy as possible to use that space. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have a big like plastic tub or tote, and I'm gonna keep all of our outdoor plates, dinnerware, serveware and all that sort of stuff in there. There we go. Out of this direct sunlight for a little bit. But I'm gonna put all of those in there. So then when we want to eat outside, all I'll have to do is pull the tub out, set the table or do whatever with all of that stuff. And then once we are done eating, then I can just pack everything back up in the tub, bring it in the house, wash it, put everything back in the tub, and then just bring the tub back outside and store it away again. Because we are going to have cabinets. We're going to have a serving area, and then we're going to have cabinets below it, so I'll be able to put that tub in there, and that'll keep everything clean in between uses. So I'm going to need to get a pretty decent tub that's going to actually like secure clothes very nicely, so then no dirt and bugs and whatever else can get in there. All right, well, that's what I've been up to, and hopefully soon I'll be able to give you guys another update with the deck fully finished. I did order our new patio table and chair set, deck chair set, outdoor dining set, whatever you want to call it. I did order that yesterday, and it's at that point where it's like, okay, let's hurry up and finish, but there's still so much that we have to do in order to get finished that it's a little daunting at the same time. So, but we'll get there. It's really exciting. It's starting to come together. It's starting to feel like hours now. So yeah, we're getting close to our first full year in the house, and we have made a lot of changes. And now this summer we've been able to focus a lot more on the exterior in our enjoyable entertainment and outdoor spaces. And hope you're all having a good day. We'll see you soon.